Hi, first grade friends. This week we've been talking about currency. So the kind of currency we've been talking about is coins such as the penny or the dime. Yesterday we talked about counting by pennies or counting by dimes, but today we're going to talk about counting pennies and dimes together. Our I can statement is I can count pennies and dimes. Can we read that together? I can count pennies and dimes. So we went over this, that the penny is the one on the left. It's that copper brown color and it has Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial Building on the back. We know the penny is worth 1 cent. Then we talked about the dime. The dime is smaller than the penny, but it is worth more. The dime has Franklin Roosevelt on the front and it has a torch with olive branches on the back. The dime is the smallest of the silver coins and it's worth 10 cents. So both pennies and dimes are a form of currency. Do you remember what currency is? Currency is a system of money we use in the United States to exchange for goods and services. So without currency, we wouldn't be able to buy goods or services. Can you think of something you would want to buy with currency, such as dimes and pennies? I can think of lots of things, like a cake from the store or a new trampoline. Those all cost money, so we use currency such as dimes and pennies to pay for things. Without having currency, we wouldn't be able to buy those goods or services. So we talked about how the penny equals 1 cent. If I was thinking about base 10, I would think of the penny being the same as 1. So the penny is worth 1 cent. It's the lowest form of currency we have. Then if I think about the dime, I know it's 10 cents. If I'm thinking about base 10 blocks, I would know it's the same as a tens block. So even though I don't see 10 objects in the dime, I know it's worth 10 cents. Or we can also say that 10 pennies is the same as 10 cents. So what if you see pennies and dimes together? I need to count this up. If this was the money I had in my wallet, how much money do I have? To begin counting pennies and dimes together, I have to put them in order from greatest to the least. So when I talk about greater, I talk about the bigger number. When I talk about least, I'm thinking about the smallest number. So which coin on my screen is worth the most? If you said dime, you are correct. The penny is worth 1 cent, so each penny is worth 1, and the dime is worth 10. So I need to start with putting the dime first in order. It's kind of like thinking about how we would count with base 10 blocks. We wouldn't start with our ones, we would start with the tens. So I would count 10 because I know a dime is worth 10, and then I would count on by ones because a penny is worth 1. I wouldn't say 10, 20. I would say 10, 11, 12, 13. Kind of like if I were counting with base 10 blocks, I would say 10, 11, 12, 13. So here I have 13 cents. I can write it with my symbol, or I can write out the word cents. Let's look at another example. Can you count how much money you have here? An easier way to do this would be to put the greater amount to the left and the smaller amount to the right. So I would order my coins like so. Would I start with ones first or tens first? If you said tens, you are correct. So remember, when we count dimes, we count by tens. So I would count 10, 20, 30, Now I'm going to pause because would I still be counting by tens when I switched to penny? No, I would count by ones. So here we had 10, 20, 30. Now we're going to switch to ones. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. So I have 35 cents here, and I could write it with my symbol, or I can write out the word cents. Let's watch a video and see how they count their pennies and dimes together.
Hi there, Coach Mike.
Hello.
And today we are counting coins.
I love counting coins, Coach Mike.
I love counting coins too, little Billy. It's so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
Shall we get started?
Let's go for it.
All right.
Woo.
Whoa.
What do you see, little Billy?
Well, Coach Mike, I see 1 dime and 4 pennies.
That's correct. And little Billy, what's the dime worth?
Well, Coach Mike, a dime is worth 10 cents.
That's right. And what is a penny worth?
A penny is worth 1 cent.
That's correct. All right, little Billy, the next step is to put our coins in order from the highest value to the lowest value. The greatest to the least. You ready?
Ready, Coach Mike?
All right. So, first thing we can do is look at the highest value.
Okay, Coach Mike.
What is the highest value there?
Well, that's a dime.
Okay, and what is it worth?
10 cents.
All right, great. So now we just count on.
Oh, we like this. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Yes! And how much is it worth?
14 cents.
Awesome.
Thanks, Coach Mike.
You're becoming a pro, little Billy.
Oh, thanks, Coach Mike.
All right. I'm going to give you one that's a little more challenging.
Okay.
All right.
Woo. There's a lot of coins up there, Coach Mike.
That is. What do you see?
Well, I see 3 dimes and 2 pennies.
That's right. And what's the first thing we need to do?
Well, we need to put them in order, Coach Mike.
From...
Greatest to least.
That's right. Okay, great. There we go. And where do we start?
With the dime.
Okay.
Coach Mike?
Yeah.
How do I count the dimes?
Well, how much is a dime worth?
10 cents.
So, we need to count by 10.
Oh, like this? 10, 20, 30,
Keep on going.
31, 32.
Yes, little Billy.
32 cents.
You're right. Great job.
Thanks, Coach Mike.
All right, so see how they had their pennies and dimes in different orders, and then they put it in order from greatest to least. So you're going to start with your dimes because they are worth more, and then count your pennies. So today I want you to find some pennies and dimes at home if you can find it. Ask your parents to help you find some pennies and dimes, and have them put some on a table. Practice putting them in order from dimes to pennies like they did here. And then count up to see how much you have all together. Then I want you to head to that Seesaw app to complete the activity. Have fun, first graders.